Well, hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens. But today, it's winter is crappening, isn't it? I'm Ronnie, that's Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
As we call him, Begon.
Begon.
Over in these parts.
What are you? If I'm Begon, are you Ronmund? Rhaenyra?
Ron.
You're Rhaenyra.
Ron, or
I think you're Rhaenyra. You're Rhaenyra.
I'm Ron.
Ron.
Instead of
Begon and Ron.
I could be Ronlicent. I mean, let's face it. I'd like to think of myself as a Ray, but I'm probably an Alicent. It's like that Sex in the City thing where you're like, what Sex in the City girl are you? And everyone's like, Samantha Carey. We're all a bunch of fucking Mirandas eating cake out of the trash. So let's not lie to ourselves.
And let's also not lie to ourselves. Our names are way too different sounding to actually be part of House of the Dragon. If I'm going to be Begon, you're going to be Bagon. Okay. Like that's just how it goes.
That's true.
Like you might be able to get away with like Bigun, but that's almost like that George R.R. Martin's like, I don't know. I think like people could tell the difference between Bagon and Bigun. So let's do Bagon and Bagon.
Well, I hope you're begging, because then if you became a stripper on the show, we could be like, oh my God, you guys begging strips.
Begging strips.
Begging strips.
Or I could just be a begging stripper. like my lap dance is just getting on someone's lap and then say, please give me money.
I would be that kind of stripper because people would not tip me. They'd be like, please put your shirt back on. I'd be like, please don't. Please.
I am begging from Harrenhal. Please give me some money.
All right. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Today we're talking about the most hilarious show on television,
Truly.
House of the Dragon. This is a clusterfuck of a show in the best way possible. So much drama, so much telenovela action, que emoción, Ben, que emoción.
So good.
What emotion, you know?
Yeah.
And really does. Really, I could use some more sobbing. Really from everybody. The men, the women, the dragons. I need some more dragon drama. But overall, just love what you guys are doing over there. Okay.
Yeah. Love the emphasis on a wet, rainy, decrepit castle interiors this episode. That was a nice touch. And, dream sequences. It's always welcome. It was fun. Plus also Ray in a habit. I mean, that's just fun.
Can I just say, Ray looks adorable in a habit.
I know.
And I don't think that everybody can pull off a habit, but shockingly, Ray really nailed that habit. Also, have you heard that in the books, Ray is supposed to be chunky? They describe her as like a bigger woman because she's had,
Did not hear that.
Probably still having kids. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But people are like, why are they not casting, a bigger Why aren't they casting Brandon? What's his buns? What's that guy's name? Curious
Ralph?
George? No. The guy.
Brandon Routh. Why aren't they casting Brandon Routh in this?
Why aren't they casting Brandon Routh? No, Brandon Gleeson. Is that his name? He
Brandon
played
Gleeson, yes.
Yeah. Why aren't they casting? Was he Curious George? Wait, hold on.
I have no idea.
Tarzan.
No,
Ben.
Brendan Gleeson is not Tarzan. Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser, yes, because he played the big guy in that movie, and then people were mad at him for playing a big guy when he's not that big. And
why are they not casting Brenda Blethyn? Why not Brenda Blethyn as Ray?
You know what? If you're still listening to this recap, fucking go away already. Why are you even here? Okay. This is a mess. Go home. Okay. So we can continue, Ben. I warned them. So anyway, she's supposed to be bigger. And through parts of this, and I am up and down with my weight, as I'm a bigger person inside, no matter what I am physically. And I would love to see a bigger Ray personally, but I'm not going to thin shame the woman. Anyway, the point is, she's been wearing this very heavy drapery. I mean, I guess everybody does because it's like Game of Thrones. So no one's like in a swimsuit, you know what I mean? But she's like in very heavy drapery for her clothes. And I thought they were like, oh, maybe they're making Ray bigger this season. Like she's going to become a big queen, which I would love. But nope, they put her in that habit. And I was like, damn. Not only does she look good in a habit, but Westeros has like the hottest habits I've ever seen. Like what a figure glorifying habit that was.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good habit, and it's a hard habit to break, one might say. But, I think if she wore that habit, she may do much better winning over the people, Like, she just has to be like, look, I'm in a habit. I'm gentle. I'm fun. I'm a great time. You can trust me. And I think people would be like, yeah, you know what? I actually think I like it. I like that habit. I think I'm gonna vote for Ray Ray.
Vote for Ray Ray. Make it a habit to vote for Ray Ray.
Well, the episode opens up with the implications of this dreaded war on, I won't say the small folk, because the small folk apparently only live in the city. And by the way, could we see the small folk doing something else? I'm saying this because I just feel like we get such a one-dimensional view of the small folk. They're either like marauding in like a whorehouse, or they're getting drunk at the pub, or they're just in the streets being awful. And let me tell you something. I guarantee there are like many small folk who are just like chill, who are just at home, just like hanging out, eating some food, just chatting. And like,
no, well, you don't see them. I mean, it's like the real world, not the TV show, but like the actual real world. You don't see those people. We're at home. The people you see in public are absolute morons. Like literally, I walk into public and I'm like, well, I mean, if it's going to be the end of the world, now's the time. Literally right here. You know, this food court right here.
I just feel like everyone on the streets of Westeros is always sobbing or like attacking or drunk. And it's like, where are the people who are just walking around like gossiping about their friends? Like, where are just like the
talk
chill
about
people?
Your taxes doing nothing for you. I mean, if you're going to cry, that's the city to cry in. There's literally nothing. It's like, they pay like 70% in taxes over there. They already make like a cent an hour. And then they pay all that to taxes. They don't have a McDonald's. Like they don't have a fucking, they don't have decent streets. The horses just shitting all over the place.
Yeah.
Look at the crime. Look at the crime.
Yeah, it's just the small folk. Well, now we're in the countryside. We're actually technically in the riverlands, which is an oxymoron if you really think about it. Is it a river or is it land? But we are having two feuding families, houses or whatever. So we have these basically young toxic males. They've just come of age. They have their first swords. They're excited to use them. And so we have this first one.
But they're like baby toxic. They're like trying to pretend they're toxic, but they're like little dough. Right.
Like they just got their driver's license. Yeah. They just got their driver's license. So they're driving really fast on the streets, but they don't.
I'm like, guys, you have so much life left to ruin.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't need to just spend it all right now on this field. Also, here's what else small people do. Small folk. I shouldn't say small people. I don't like the term small folk. I feel like it's offensive, but whatever. Oh. I feel like another thing they do on this show is just like stand around a field and talk. Yeah. Like, guys, have you invented slides yet? At least like do something. Go sit on a rock. You're literally standing around in every scene talking in the field.
You literally have like 6 guys with like standing near a border, and then you have another 6 guys standing near a border, and they're like, they're like talking towards each other, like talking at each other. Okay. And so one guy named Davos is like, Bracken, put the boundary stones back. And then this guy, Aaron, is like, well, we didn't move the boundary stones. So then Davos is like, oh, so the stones just moved themselves then, just rolled their way over so Bracken cows can fill their bellies on Blackwood grass.
Oh, yeah, we're just all dying to eat your grass. You know, and you know who else could use a good complaining session? A fucking cow. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now you're going to give the cow shit for eating grass over a border. Give me a fucking break. The cow's stuck with grass all day. Like, have a heart. And these guys, first of all, they're the Brackens and the Blackwoods. I'm going with the Brackens because they sound like they have good hair. I'm just going to go out there and say that. I'm Team Bracken, but I think the Brackens are Team Ray Ray, right?
I think they are. Let's see. Yeah, I think because
they call him a baby killer. No.
Well, as Aaron says, your false queen Rhaenyra is a kinslayer, so that means that Davos is pro Ray Ray, and that means that I think Davos is Blackwood.
I don't know.
They really need better branding.
I think I'm just with Team Bracken because I like their hair. So one of them's like, "You're a baby killer." And then the other one's like, what? How dare you? And they're like, in your false queen, Rhaenyra, she's a baby king slayer. She slayed a baby king. And then he's like, your uncle declared for Aegon. Oh, let's fight over our parents' fucking problems. My parents have too many problems. I cannot spend time fighting over my parents' problems. My parents are their own fucking people. I feel like someone needs to tell the small folk of Westeros, your parents are also just fucked up people. don't take it too personally. Just let them fight their own thing. Maybe they're putting their keys in a bowl at a party every once in a while. Like, are you going to freak out when your Spanish teacher is there in the morning? You know what I mean? No, just get on with your fucking life. Okay. You don't need to murder each other, but they do. And they're like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And then we just cut to, everybody dead.
All these people, everyone came out of the door, like their barns and everything, and was like, did you hear that they moved the boulder stones? Outrageous. And so they came out, they fought. And there's also a lovely windmill. By the way, the whole episode opens with this beautiful windmill. Now it's burned down, which I don't know what even the point of that is, because like if you're gonna like fight like that, you might as well take over the windmill and use the windmill. But like one family burned down a windmill, so you're just ruining your land value at that point.
It's also a difficult thing to burn down a windmill because it's just a big tall thing of stone. I mean, there's so much other things to burn down.
Yeah,
you know.
I just feel like it's stupid for them to do that.
And so I think it was one of the guys fighting we see with a sword in his neck at the end.
Yeah.
And flies play around and stuff.
Yeah. It's classic fly activity. Flies they love their games. They love playing around a dead head. It's very flies
forward. Really know how to live. I feel like in every film and TV thing, we're like the poor people, or like, you know, why are people fighting their parents' battles? No one feels bad for flies. You know why? Because they know how to live. They party. Yeah. You poop, they will make a party out of it. You die, they'll make a party out of it. You have a delicious meal, they'll make a party out of that too. Like, they will party the same come rain or shine.
This is a fly conversation that you will probably hear around the Red Keep. Oh my God. Do you know what I love? What? Smelly people. Me too. I literally love smelly people. I know. Do you want to go like play around some smelly people? Yes, let's do that right now.
But you know what else I love? People that smell good. And also people that don't smell at all. And also like dirty things, but also clean things.
You know what I love? Food that's like kind of old. I know it's weird, but I just like love old food.
But also new food. I love all kinds.
New food's good too.
I like can literally do nothing and please a fucking fly is the point. Okay. They are not picky.
Poop. I love poop.
Love it. Also things before they turn into poop. I literally love everything. So, okay. So, you know, that's just like a little vignette. All the dead people, all the dead taxpayers,
and the flies too. And the flies.
Yeah. The flies are like, we're still winning. Like, I don't know who's winning the human war, but the flies are winning this war. That's for sure. The fly war. So then we go to Ray and, we're at the twin, like funeral sesh, I guess. Yeah. There's like the twins are lying next to each other.
It's the funeral of Eric and Eric.
Yeah.
They're being buried, which in the lore of this show, they don't get buried in caskets. They just put a nice blanket down and sort of surround their shoulders. Which is good because I don't know if you noticed in the opening credits in the tapestry, we saw the baby, the toddler. They showed him being sort of like dead in the tapestry, and then like blood goes across his neck to allude that his head was decapitated. So just a little tapestry.
Whoever made that tapestry is doing a great job, because then we also saw all the dead rat catchers after that.
Yes.
All the hung rat catchers.
They're like, let's get this.
The rat catchers made it onto a blanket. That's pretty big.
Was like, hey, so Joanne, since you just got married, I made you a blanket, just a little something. It's just fun. And this is just like represents you and your family. And then I just put some dead rat catchers on it. I hope you don't mind. I just thought I wanted to really depict that as an important part of our lives.
It's mage. I was happy for the rat catchers because they never thought they were going to be famous like that. And now somebody's like literally cuddling with them somewhere. You know,
I know.
They're famous. So, because that's like a blockbuster movie back then, you know, being on a blanket. They're like the Tom Cruise.
That was Top Gun. Top tapestry. People, they carry that tapestry to the streets and go, da, 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 da,
you want to talk about long acceptance speeches? The best tapestry of the year award. Oh my God. They are thanking people literally for the 20 years it took them to make that shit.
They call those the tappies. It's a really great, everyone tunes in for the tappies. Ratings have been down recently, but that's just because of the media landscape we live in. But you know, it's a legacy. It's a legacy.
It used to air in the summer, but they had to change it to winter because like nobody wants blankets in the summer.
Yeah, they had to delay it this year because of the strikes.
Yeah. Okay, so they're giving twin funeral, and someone's like, "Oh fuck that other twin, whichever one he is, because he's a fucker."
Oh, you mean Eric?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Eric. Eric. Yes, not Eric. Yes, Eric. I thought you said Eric. No, Eric. Let's just bury them so we never have to have this conversation ever again.
And Rhaenyra's like, "Listen, I cannot fault him for like doing his job. The man did his job." And they're like, "You killed an Amazon driver for throwing your package at the front door." And she's like, "He did his job badly." And now he's beheaded. But these guys like literally were doing their job. Like, what do you want?
You know what? He was loyal to a dickhead, unfortunately, but he was loyal most importantly, you know?
Yeah.
So
loyal.
Yeah. So Rhaenys is talking to Rhaenyra, and she's like, I don't know. Otto Hightower, that guy, he used to eye fuck me in the court all the time. I feel like I understand him, and he wouldn't have allowed this. I think that he's not. I think this isn't him. Someone else is doing this. There's hotter heads in power now. I don't know. We got to check this out.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? No one liked Dick Cheney until we got Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Let's all remember that, okay? Call Dick back. Someone call Dick back, okay? So we shot somebody in the face. Who cares? Like, literally, who cares at this point? So everybody's mind is kind of changing about old Otto. Like, call Otto back.
He's getting a good edit this season. In the world of Real Housewives, he's getting a good, like, Camille Grammer season 2 edit, you know? So basically, Rhaenys is like, soon they will not even remember what it was that began the war in the first place. And Ray is like, it's pretty obvious because I was usurped. So let's not play that game. She says, oh, really? Or was it the child who was beheaded? Or when Aemond killed Luke? Or when Luke took Aemon's eyes? Or the time that Luke had a little bit more soup than Jace? Or the time that Aemond, tripped on a branch that Luke had put out there? Or, should I go on? There's so many examples.
She has a point, but like, look, here's how I look at it. This show started in very happy times. Everybody was covered in dirt and no one had lighting. Okay. Mm-hmm. Fast forward, it's bad times. Everyone's covered in dirt and there's no good lighting. Like, it's literally the same thing. So what are you going to do? You got to keep entertained. Just, keep doing whatever you're doing. You guys are doing great.
Yeah. So Ray is like, you know what's so funny about all this, if you really think about it, is that like last time I talked to Allison, she was like, you'd be like a great queen. And now all of a sudden, like, what the fuck? Right? Does anyone else think that's kind of like wild that happened? And Rhaenys is like, oh, well, it's very funny that you mentioned that because she knew that war was coming and it would be savage beyond all compare. And by the way, there's no war so hateful to the gods as a war between kin. So let me just suckle on my lower lip while you think about that.
It was delicious, actually. I actually had some cilantro today. Have you had that? It's stuck in between.
No, I have the gene. I can't have that, unfortunately.
Delicious, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think I'd still eat it, even if it tasted like soap to me.
It's just I can't. I see guacamole and I always want to dip a chip into it, but you just can't have it. It's good. I need to lose some weight anyway.
Not in that habit you're about to put on, you don't. I'll tell you that. It's a fabulous habit.
It's a bespoke habit for you, so we need to just maintain this
lovely.
Body weight. We need your head size to remain the same.
The habit curation in this town is really something. We don't have air conditioning yet, but whoever is designing those habits, God, do we have gay people yet? Is that a thing?
So Rhaenyra's like, okay, I know we want to talk about.
By the way, I just have to say one thing. I like that she's one thing. It's like 20 minutes and we've talked about 2 seconds.
Flies.
But she's like, there's nothing more offensive to the gods than a war between kin. Have you read the Bible? Because God wrote that. And it opens with a war between kin.
God's kind of into it. Yeah.
God loves it. God loves a good brother killing brother story. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
All right. It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
So Rhaenyra's like, well, it's funny about Allison because she actually sent a raven, but I just don't really want to read her message. It's just like, whenever you get a raven and it says at AOL.com, you're like, oh, I don't even want to open this up. Is it just going to be a spam raven? You know what I'm doing? Not what I'm talking about.
I love that Ray is just like, oh, she sent a raven. I read the headline. It was like claws. That was it. Like if you can't fit it like in the claw grasp, like if I can just like read beyond the claw between like the two little toe things and read your message, then I'll know. If you can't fit it in there, I don't have time to unravel your little scrolled up piece of paper, lady. Okay. I don't care how long it took this fucking raven to get here.
Yeah, Ray's like, besides, Rhaenys, I have to deal with a prince in Nigeria who needs my assistance. Like, oh, you really need to be more discerning about which ravens you open up.
Oh, so you'll open those ones, will you? Yes, well, it turns out that I'm the only Ray within 500 miles of the last Ray to ever live. They had a house with a swimming pool, all right? It could be mine, really. All I have to do is send over my number from my Wells Fogs.
So basically,
which one's the routing? I always forget.
It's the smaller number, but I have to advise you, please don't send this to. There's no such place as Nigeria.
Well, last time I tried to do this, I put the routing instead of the banking, and then it was sent back by Raven. I mean, it was 3 weeks. By then, they'd found another Ray. Literally lost a fortune on that one.
It's a good thing I have eternal wealth, being a queen and all.
In this town, have you looked around? Have you? We don't even have insulation in this house. Oh. All right, back to it then. I didn't read her stupid Raven message. And she's like, don't be mad at her. It's the men around her that seek bloodshed. And she's like, well, she permitted it. And she says, well, you permitted the murder of a little boy in his bed. I mean, really, are we to judge? God damn it, the cilantro's delicious. Are you sure you don't want some?
So Ray's like, well, let me have my first of 45 different instances of choking up this episode. Alicent is in King's Landing, and her son sits on my throne. There's nothing more to be said.
Oh, gosh. Doesn't it at least make you feel good that another blonde person got it? I mean, whatever happened to blonde unity?
Yeah, no, it just goes to show blondes are never happy.
Okay, our note taker today, Shelby, just wrote this. One last look at the bodies, and they barely covered them despite digging for the last 5 minutes. I love the gravedigger judgment, Shelby. Yes.
Shelby's
that's my kind of girl right there.
Shelby's like, what the fuck? You're gonna sit there. Where are you putting the dirt? Like, look down at Ray. She's like, you put all this dirt on my shoes. Like, oh, we're so sorry.
Shelby, of all the details so far in this show, that's what really got Shelby. She's like, fuck these people. Like, seriously, learn how to cover a body with dirt.
I know.
Am I right?
So now we go to the Red Keep, and look, there's Kristen Cole, and he's like leaning on a chair. He's all sad. It makes it look like he's looking in the grave. It's like it's a director's trick. And then this guy comes up. He's like, "Is all well, Lord Hand?" And he's like, "Fine, it's time for me. Like, it's time for his first day on the job to show up to the small council as the new hand."
Yes. So that's what he's like having a mini freak out. His acting's super weird, and I don't want to say he's a bad actor because I hate him. So I think that he's doing a good job. But
well, we know
it's weird acting because I think this is supposed to be him freaking out, like it's the biggest day of his life. And they said in the after show thingy that he's freaking out, but then they show him and he's just like, "I have a Caesar cut now."
Exactly.
That's his.
I think that's what I was going to say. This was technically the last scene pre-Caesar cut. So I think it was like the look on his face was not that he was concerned about can he do his job. The look on his face was like, is it time for me to take the plunge and do a Caesar cut? I think it's gonna happen.
He's like, I need a new haircut. I've got a new job. I need a new haircut now. Am I too early or too late for the George Clooney?
He literally has Cersei's haircut in the late seasons of Game of Thrones, actually, if you think about it.
He does, but he's got a little of the curl going on.
He's got a little of that. So he comes into the small meeting and everything, and all the guards, they're all looking at him like, this guy, really? So he comes in, and he's like, "Good morrow, your grace, my lords. Forgive my lateness." I was like, you should have played on your first day at your new job. I mean,
seriously, to stare at a wall? Like, come on.
He was looking at books.
Aegon's like, important business, no doubt. And Kristen is like, "Oh, so I see we've appointed new knights to the King's Guard, your grace." And he's like, "Well, yeah, we lost some, didn't we?" Maybe appoint some rat catchers.
Get it? Ha! So Kristen starts talking. Now they're talking. They do a whole lot of like administrative talking. Like, well, I don't know if you heard about this, but House Bracken was talking to House Blackwood, and they had a fight. And Samuel Blackwood took it upon himself, and now he's slain, and now the windmill is burned down. And then Bracken went on to talk to Brackish, which is a whole different house. They have great water, by the way. You can preserve anything in there. And then Brackish was getting mad at Blackpool. Blackpool, not to be confused with Blackwood. Blackpool is totally different. And then we also have Blackfire. Anyway, they're all fighting right now. Don't know really what to do. I say we just go in there and kill them all. What do you think?
Yeah, so they're basically like everybody's murdering each other out there. And he's like, good, because it's a war. And so people are fighting for us. The king's all excited. And they're like, yeah, it's a lot of dead people. And alive people are the ones that we use like for, slavery and like paying very little to deliver our Amazon boxes, building, rivers, malls, etc. We kind of need people to be alive because for rich people to be rich, there need to be poor people to make them feel rich. Do you understand? He's like, oh no.
And so, Aegon loves this. He's like, great, war. This is what I've been waiting for. Not war, what is it good for? War. What are we waiting for, right? So he wants to jump into it, and this guy Orwell, he's like, well, we sent a raven to Lord Tully, and these houses are his vassals, are they not? He must control them. And they're like, oh, I think your raven was actually hacked. Yeah, we got a lot of messages about your raven. It turns out like it was really asking for some weird shit, and people were not happy.
So they are like, listen, we need to get Tully's house. Okay, we need to call Tully. And Aegon's like, ew, he's gross.
And
like, I don't like him.
Yeah.
And they're like, but there's a guy with like a big castle. We should get the big castle. They're like, yeah, let's go get Harrenhal. That's really big. And they're like, yeah, Harrenhal's huge. Let's get Harrenhal. And he's like, I'm going to take a dragon and I'm going to burn every motherfucker to Harrenhal from here to Harrenhal. We're going to kill everybody. And Alicent's like, man, can we please stop burning everything down? We need the poor people. Do we not remember who's going to run Yogurt Planet?
And so, but Kristen, of course, he's like, no, we must be, the gods favor the bold. And Alicent's like, but they did not favor Sir Eric. Well, what was wrong with Sir Eric? I mean, yes, he did retreat and join the other side. No, not Sir Eric. I'm talking about Sir Eric. I still don't understand. He was.
So Kristen's like, okay, listen. We can't just dragon everybody all the time, okay? We need the riverlands, and Harrenhal's the key to the riverlands because it's a big house, okay? So I'm going to go get some guys, and we're going to ride out there, and they're going to be guys that I've trained. So guess what that means? They do not fuck people because that's a sin, which I would never do. I would never fuck people because we have taken a vow of chastity. Am I right, babe? Am I right? All right. Call me. Call me. And they're very godly people, and we're just gonna go take Harrenhal quietly. Okay, we don't need the dragons, we don't need the big thing, we just want to do this quietly.
And then Tyland is there, and he's like, well, my brother Jason is raising a great army at Casterly Rock, and in a matter of weeks he'll be able to harass the Blackwoods from the west. I think that'd be pretty cool, right? Anyone? No? And then Orwell is like, well, should we not aim to unite these armies, then strike as one? And then Tyland's like, oh, the great military mind of the Citadel. I'm like, you know what, Tyland? I think you need to calm down. I think Orwell's contributions are perfectly sound here.
Well, they see a power vacuum, so now all these guys are like, oh, Otto's gone, let's take his job, shall we? And they're like, here's what we should do. I say we should take bread from the south and give it to the north. And then other people are like, we need a train track. And then other people are like, you know what? We need cheaper hot dogs. And then everyone's like yelling and fighting. And Alicent's like, guys, can we stop acting like that? Because we just need to get the river area or whatever. Yeah. Can we concentrate on Harrenhal? Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So Kristen's basically like, look, I'm going to go in really quickly. I'm going to go there. I'm going to get as I come through, everyone's going to just naturally, turn to our cause. I'm going to have a new haircut. Everyone's going to be like, who is that? You will watch all these people that were for Rhaenyra. They're going to be for us now. And then we're just going to strike. They will not expect it whatsoever. And she's like, but you don't have a lot of guys. Like, you're going to be killed at the first stronghold you meet. And he's like, yes, but seize a haircut. I don't think you understand how powerful it really is. Okay, am I right, everyone? Am I right?
People kill people. People do not kill George Clooney. Don't you worry about me, Toots.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
She's like, but that's really stupid. And he's like, oh, really? well, let's just see how this himbo makes out, because I'm doing it. And then Aegon's like, yeah, amazing. So are you going to take Aemond and Vhagar too? And he's like, no, that big ass dragon needs to defend the city. Okay. And then he's like, good. Then I'm going to war. I'm bringing Sunfire, the butchest dragon of all the fleet. Sunfire.
So Alicent's like, Aegon. And he's like, Your Grace. And he's like, you'll need a dragon. And he's like, well, Kristen's like, well, my plan was actually not to draw attention away from the Caesar haircut. I mean, I'm just wait. Tomorrow, you will not be able to believe it. And so Aegon's like, well, and then what will you do if you encounter one or more of Rhaenyra's dragons? She'll want to answer for Sir Eric.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you know what dragons love to fight? Dragons. Okay, so maybe if we just don't bring a giant dragon, people won't see us coming. Okay, we're going to sneak in there. We're just going to sneak in there. He's like, you sure? How about 5 dragons? He's like, no dragons. Or how about a semi-truck on top of the dragon? Because the dragon's a dragon. How about a dragon with a clown's wig and a big nose that you can squeeze and it'll make a horn sound when you come through? Like, no.
No, that's the opposite of what we're looking for. Okay, stealth.
A dragon and a George Clooney Caesar haircut. I'm not competing with the goddamn dragon. All right.
All right. The Caesar haircut's kind of my thing. I think we should all drop it. It's just going to be me who does that. All right, everyone. So then
I mean, by the time Caesar comes around, they're going to be calling it the Kristen.
I'm really going to pioneer something here, everyone. At the very least. You know, kings and queens go. Fashion is forever. Am I right?
How did you just put pie in my ear? Sorry, Toots, but I did say I was going to pioneer something. Just had to have some gravitas in my first meeting. Right?
You're quite literal. With that pioneer bit there.
Listen, Aegon loves the dad joke. He's got daddy issues, all right? Listen, I'm the boss now. Do you think I don't know how to work the room? All right, thank you.
So now we see Sea Smoke. God, these dragon names just keep on getting worse and worse. Last week I was like, I can't believe there's dragon named Moondancer. Now we have Sunfire and Sea Smoke. What happened to the ones that were like Bogar, Levar, Vagar, Xanax, you know? But now we have
like benzos. I
like
first of all, I never pay attention to the dragons, obviously. Like I'm sure we sound like complete morons.
But they're all
really dragons. To everybody. But I don't pay attention to the dragon names really. Vhagar, I've started to. Why? Because he's bigger than them all. He's huge. Yeah. And so like we know who he is because he ate that little innocent dragon.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to pay attention. And I was reading a thread last night because that's what I have to do after this show. I have to go read somebody kind of explain what happened because I don't know. I'm just like, I love her nun dress. You know, that's what I left with.
Yeah.
So I was reading and people were talking about the dragons and someone's like, oh yeah, well, her dragon, Rhaenyra's dragon, who we see later.
Right, was stolen, right?
It's small, but it's really fast. Or Baela. Was it Baela?
Baela. We see later. Aemond stole Rhaenyra's dragon back last season, right?
Stop confusing me. Okay, so some girl that we see today, which we'll get to later, is on a little dragon. And they're like, oh, but that's good because her little dragon can move quicker than the big dragon. So and they were breaking it down. And then someone else was like, oh, yeah, I don't think that dragon is bigger than that other dragon. And they're like, oh, yeah, Sunfire is bigger than so-and-so because I went to the official size chart for the dragons. And I was like there's an official size chart for the dragons?
Well, they're one size until someone gets the lightning bolting and then they all shrink for about 10 seconds and then they get big again.
That is a different show. Okay, I want to look at. Okay, you keep talking.
Okay, well, so we see Sea Smoke flying over the sea and also making a lot of noise, and Mysaria is there watching, and so Ray walks up to Mysaria and she's like, I was told you turned back from your ship to bring warning. She's like, I was not believed at first. And she's like, well, you saved my life. What is the life of a queen worth these days? Okay, well, do you have to answer everything like that? Do I have to answer everything like what? It's like that sort of like you're sort of asking a question. I mean, you were asking a question that in that case, but like you just like talk normally. I talk normally all the time. I was like, you just did it again. The tone is just very annoying to me to talk like a regular person.
Well, you said your earnest desire was to flee Westeros. So what are you doing here? And she's like, and you let me go. You showed me grace, and you could have not shown me grace, so I figured I would come back to whoever's showing me grace instead of who's not showing me grace. Could you not? It actually sounds like a song. It's starting to become an earworm in my head.
Well, I think it's pretty amazing when people show me grace, don't you think? Amazing grace. Oh, no. I feel it. I feel like a song. It's on the cusp of my. I feel like there's something there. It's good. It's good. I actually like it.
Grace. God, how sweet the sound. Oh my God, write that down. Write what down? I've lost it.
What is it worth it to you to have it written down? Oh God, is everything a negotiation? This is listen. This is number one hit right here. Write it down.
So she's like, okay, if you don't want to flee, then what the fuck do you want, lady? And she's like, a job. I'd love it to work for you here in your court. And she's like, oh God, no one works here. I mean, last guy worked at, had a twin show up with the same exact name, stabbed him in the face, right? Who wants to work here? Literally, no one has left us a good Google review. Nobody.
Well, and you let me go. You showed me grace when you could have withheld it. I'm not often surprised. It's like, okay, all right. So 1 to infinite, fine. You can work in the court. Suit yourself. It's sort of shitty pay. There's like no pay, to be honest. You just have to figure it out. You can find rats, eat them. I don't know. I don't know. Deal with HR.
Listen, you're paid in drapes that you wear around your body that make you look gigantic. All right, that's what we pay you in here.
Here's what we do.
They're not even warm, actually. They're still drafty, believe it or not. Very heavy and still drafty. But,
how about this? No living wage, but we'll give you some royalties on this Grace song that we're working on, give you some points on the back end, and that should probably be good, right?
So she's like, I have secrets. I could tell you what's happening in the Red Keep. I know everything about everybody. I could tell you secrets. And she's like, okay, all right, fine. All right, well, listen, I've shown you mercy, but don't confuse that with pliancy, all right? And Sea Smoke starts screeching, and they look out, and this dragon is just having a fucking fit. It's like stomping around the ocean. It's like, I'm so mad. Why? I hate everything. I hate boobs. I hate them.
Oh, no.
What's wrong with that? And I love how completely emotionally out of touch everybody on this show is, because Rhaenyra is like, oh my God, that's my late lord husband's dragon. He's grown restless of late. We cannot know why. And Mizari goes, maybe he's lonely. And then it just cuts to Ray like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Has Ray never had a pet?
To do with acting out.
Ray's never had a pet or something like that. You know, you could tell when your animal's acting up. Sometimes you need to get them another one, right?
Well, yeah, because to us, I mean, like, I feel like we're so over pop psychology-ized in our time that we're like, of course, your dragon's feeling things. But back then, they're like, feelings? What's that?
It's a dragon that's lonely. It's a dragon. It can literally fly anywhere it wants. Go find another dragon, you stupid, imbecile Sea Smoke dragon.
That dragon poops and can cover an entire city and drown everybody in it. And it's crying? Really?
Everyone has an emotion these days. Dragons, this new generation of dragons, I tell you, they're all about their emotions. Do you realize to make that dragon fly, you have to go up to it and say, I understand how you feel and your emotions are valid. And then it will fly. But if you don't say that, then good luck. Good luck to you getting it in the air.
Okay, so guess what I just looked up?
What?
I just looked up the size chart because I had to know. Do you know how many dragons there are? 9 million. Okay. There are so many dragons. Who's the biggest one?
Well, Balerion is the biggest one.
See, you're good. You're better than me. How did you know Balerian's the biggest one?
I'm looking at the chart.
God damn it. Oh, yeah, I sent you the chart.
To me.
Oh, well, I was testing you. It was a quiz. All right, and then Vagar's second, then Meraxes, the cannibal. Oh, I love the cannibal.
Who's the cannibal? So here's what I would actually really like to know. I would like to know, like, at some point, there was like a naming convention, like Meraxes, Vhagar, Tyraxes, Arax, Vermax. But someone got in there and started naming them things like Sea Smoke, Sunfire. There's someone in there just named Morning. There's just a dragon there named Morning. I think that, I think, it's different generations. Some are like very formal, and then some are just like stoners. They're just very on the nose, Sheep stealer. That one's sheep stealer. It stole a sheep once. So it's just sheep stealer. That one's can't find the remote control. I mean, seriously. That one over there, Settlers of Catan, they just named it after their favorite game. It's embarrassing, to be honest.
That's Marissa Tomei over there. I just really love her.
actually self-named. We said, who do you want to be named after? And they said Marissa Tomei. So there we go. But there really is a sheep stealer. Oh, God.
There's a sheep stealer. They're like, that one's Marissa Tomei, and that one over there is like Peaked It Cousin Vinny, It's not the nicest name, but it's true. Yeah.
All right, everyone, I want to introduce everyone to my new dragon. We love this dragon quite a bit, and as you know, we do not judge either by their looks or their names. Anyway, here's my new dragon, Tatum O'Neill. Come on up, Tatum O'Neill.
Tatum O'Neill. Can I just say there are a couple worth pointing out here of the smaller dragons. Most of them are smaller. There's a couple whales, by the way. Do you see the whales on the side? There's whales.
I'm cracking up. There's a sizing chart. There's some whales on the side to show like what these dragons are to size. So there's like a blue whale, there's a sperm whale, there's an elephant, there's a horse, and a human. So in case you want to know how big these dragons are.
That's crazy, isn't it? Okay, so there's a couple who are worth pointing out of the smaller fleet. Morning, who you already pointed out, is adorable. She's pink.
She is.
Well, we don't know that it's a she. I guess we shouldn't like gender
it's like the Frankie Grande
dragon
of
based
dragons.
on their color, but
yeah,
the what?
The Frankie Grande of dragons. Let's be honest.
Oh God, don't do that. I love this dragon. Frankie Grande is annoying. Okay, and then Taraxes is like G.I. Joe themed.
Yeah, Taraxes looks very cool. You know what? I feel bad for the smallest dragon is called the Last Dragon, and I feel bad because who wants to be named that? Like your name should be the last dragon. You're the last one. I mean, talk about building in an inferiority complex.
So talk about a town without hope. It's like, all right, your name is the best we could do. Now we're dying. Right.
There's Silverwing and there's Grey Ghost. And what's funny about this is that like, that Grey Ghost is probably really jealous of Silverwing because Grey Ghost is like, oh, I'm sort of the same color. Why does he get to be silver and I'm just gray? And I'm a ghost. He's a wing, but I'm a ghost. It's not fair. He has a British accent.
And I also like that everybody here is about to do like Lord of the Dance. Like all the dragons, and no one's just like sitting down. They're all like, they're like about to do the Karate Kid move where you're like, and you do the kick. Like you lift your hands up like in a flamenco pose. They're fabulous. These dragons are,
I have to say,
like really fabulous.
All of you. All of you doing great work. I love this like Radio City Music Hall line that you guys have in your diagram. Sea Smoke, I actually love the color scheme on Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke may be my favorite.
Sea Smoke is pretty. That green Sea Smoke is like a pretty like kind of a green. I like Aurochs. That's like kind of Crappens blue. Which I like.
Aurochs is all right.
Well, we've only got 9 hours more of this show to do. I think we should take a little break.
Let's take a little break. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because actually, we're recording this late today. Sorry, this recap was out late. It's been a nightmare of a day over here. Obviously, better now because we get to talk to you guys. But we do have to go record Crappy Hour, which is our Instagram live show every other week. So we're going to do that. And then we are going to do part 2 of this probably tomorrow. So we sure love you guys. Come back. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Stroll in the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. We want to hang with Liz Lang. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony,
Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Chadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender, the incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Ring that bell for Rachel.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.